my name is Subul Fatma and today I have with me the F1 Scuderia Ferrari Esports driver, Mr. Nicolas Longuet. Nicolas, how are you?
Very good, thank you. How about yourself?
I'm good too. So, Nicholas, first of all, give me a brief overview about your early passion for motorsport and the transition between from dream karting to sim racing.
This passion started very, very early on in my life. My father always used to watch Formula One and motorsports in general, and it always caught my interest. So I was always into cars and into this kind of life. And I knew that, well, my dad told me that karting was very expensive and that it's not something that is very accessible for everyone. So I just kind of didn't really think much of it. I just thought it is what it is. But one day I saw the new F1 esport that just started in 2017, I think. And I told my dad, like, oh my God, that is so cool. I want to try it as well. So he got me a wheel for I think it was Christmas. And that's why I just started driving and just kind of see where I could go. And now I ended up here.
Okay, so you mentioned Lewis Hamilton as your idol. So how has his career helped you in influencing your own path?
Yeah, Lewis has been my idol since I can remember. I remember when I first started watching Formula One, my dad was also a huge fan of Lewis, so I guess that obviously impacted me a little bit. But I don't know, there's something about it just always drew me to him, and I always wished the best for him, of course, but it really inspired me to maybe do the same thing that he could do. I mean, he's just very motivational to me in a way, so I think that's where I got my motivation from, and that's where I could keep training for as long as I could and for as hard as I could to become the driver that I am today.
Okay, so being the youngest F1 esport driver on the podium must have been a remarkable moment and journey. So, how does it feel? What were some challenges that you faced, and how was that experience?
Well, this was in 2019, I think, where I was racing for Red Bull back in the day, and in the moment, I didn't know I was the youngest or whatever podium sitter. I had no clue. They just kind of told me later on, but it doesn't really impact me anyway. I don't really care about those statistics too much. I mean, I was just focusing in the moment. I knew my team was in a very good position to fight for the championship, so this was the only race I had that year where I could show the world who I am. So I really put all my effort in it, and it showed with a great qualifying and a great race in the end. So I was very, very happy with myself.
Okay, so qualifying for the F1 Esport Pro Draft and then signing with Red Bull, how was that experience? How did you enjoy it?
Well, the pro draft back in the day was very different to what it has been the last few years, and we all went to this arena in London, and it was just a bunch of, it's kind of like an NBA pro draft kind of thing, and we all just did a few like races and to show the teams who we were, because obviously we weren't in any team or connected to anyone. So this was our only chance to show, and we basically did these races, and thankfully I won my race, which was, I think, helped a lot with the fact that many teams then wanted to get me right after. So Red Bull, I had a meeting with them before the pro draft would happen, right after the race, and they told me that if you're not picked by our turn, because I think they were like towards the last teams to pick, if you weren't picked by then we would obviously pick you. So I kind of knew it was going to happen. If nobody picked me before, then Red Bull would pick me, and it was just amazing because back in 2019 when Freddie and Yanni was in Red Bull, I knew that the team was very, very strong. So I couldn't have been happier with them.
Okay, so you do know, right, that F1 esport is like a pathway towards the traditional motorsport. So what steps are you taking to, be the part of that traditional motorsport?
So how I want to jump onto the real?
Yeah.
Is that
Okay.
So we've seen a few examples recently with people from sim racing going into real racing. It's definitely possible, and it's going to become more and more achievable as time goes on. We've already been we've already tried the F1 sim, so that's already a step. Obviously, I've done a little bit of Formula 4 karting, but not professionally, just but I think we've seen, for example, also Lucas Blakely, former F1 champion as well, do some Formula 4 recently now, connected with some teams. So I think it's possible. It's going to take us still a few more years, maybe for myself. It's just getting that first opportunity. And then once you get that first opportunity, you have to show what you can do, because otherwise it's a very competitive environment. So if you don't really show up at the right moment, at the right time, it's just going to be hard. So hopefully I can get the opportunity soon.
Challenges that you faced comparing to the traditional motorsport when being a part of the e-sport?
I think the biggest challenge for us, it's the relentlessness of the training. I don't know how to explain it. It's just, we are so competitive, like we're so close to each other that like milliseconds matter, and we are just spending 8-9 hours a day trying to find milliseconds, and it just sounds kind of dumb from an outside perspective when you're just trying to look for milliseconds, but when you watch a qualifying in our sim racing competition, you can feel the tension that there is when the top 20 drivers are separated by 0.2 of a second. So it's just a very mental game. I would say sim racing is 80% mental and 20% physical for sure, because if you're in a bad headspace, you don't have confidence in yourself, or I don't know, whatever may be going through your head. You just have to believe that you're the fastest, and then you're the best on the grid, basically.
So how important do you think that teamwork is? Like, do you collaborate with your team to achieve success?
Well, I mean, I think everyone knows in the F1 sim racing community that me and Barry, my teammate, are the best duo, the best teammates that's ever been in F1 esports, to be honest. We've shown it last year, winning the title in a crazy way, to be honest, towards the last few races, where we really clutched up for a very up and down season until halfway through. It was very mixed in terms of results. When I would do well, Barry would have a problem, or when Barry would do well, I would have a problem. It was just kind of, we couldn't really put it together. But the last event, we really worked perfectly together, and everyone saw, and I don't think we'll be separated anytime soon. So I think we're gonna keep it going like this.
Okay. So lastly, what advice would you give to the young aspiring drivers who look up to you and want to be a part of e-sport racing?
I think the biggest thing with improving and trying to reach something is learn from others. I used to watch a lot of drivers that were faster than me. I used to watch people like Danny, when like these YouTube videos they were making, or it was just you need to accept the fact that it's going to take some time, and it's just not going to happen overnight, no matter who you are. It took me a long year to get to the pro drafts from when I started, and just take your time. Honestly, if you just watch people, it'll just come naturally with time.
Okay, so Nicholas, now I'll be asking you quick 5 random questions and you have to answer them rapidly. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you could race against any celebrity in a simulator, who would it be?
I would have said Lewis. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. If you could have any superpower to improve your racing skills, what would it be?
This is the easiest one. It's just to slow down time. If you could just slow down everything, it would be so easy.
Imagine you could create a Formula 1 team. So who would you be choosing in your team? Racers from any era.
So in real life, you mean?
Yeah.
So I would put Ayrton and Max probably.
Okay. If you could swap your places with any F1 esport racer, who would it be?
I don't want to swap myself with anyone. I like who I am, to be honest.
Okay, you're the best.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
So why would I want to quit?
Okay. So, if you weren't an esport driver or racer, then what would you be?
I'll probably be a basketball player, working my way to an NBA. I used to play basketball for many years. So.
Oh, that's nice. Okay. So thank you so much for your time, Nicholas. It was a pleasure having
Thank
you.
you.
I hope you have a good day.
Thank you yourself as well.